Well, welcome to School VIP. I have Jamie Chadburn from Fuducia with me today, and I'm really happy to have you. Where are you today?
So I'm based in the UK, so not so glamorous. Back in the Midlands, small town called Loughborough, quite like well known for sport, to be honest. So if anyone's following the Olympics, a lot of the GB athletes are actually from like my little town here.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome. And how old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
Wow, that's amazing. And how much are you making a month on school right now?
Probably roughly, not all profit.
Mhm.
I'd say around 14,000 at the moment.
That's awesome, but you're at least you've hit that 10K mark, right? That's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
like it's like the pedestal of online business. It's that 10K a month mark. Once you reach that, that's people think that you've made it from there, but it's far from it. It's probably I'd say the beginning of the online game, I'd say.
Absolutely. So tell me when you got on school.
So I've been in, I'd say, the digital product space for maybe about 3 years, but mostly on Discord. So helping creators monetize on Discord. That was where I started off at. And then I'd sort of been like made aware of School. I'd seen like people like Hamza had gone over to School. I'd seen Max Pearson go over to School, someone who I'd followed for like a very long time. And then it was when the School game, well, when Hormozy invested in the School games was launched. That's when I was like, okay, like let's take a look at this. And around I'd say February time,
Mhm.
I just thought let's go all in on this. Bring all my business over to School. And yeah, since February I've been yeah on School since then. I've only really since April myself like tried to make a name for myself on School though.
Uh-huh. So tell me about Fiducia and the community you launched on school.
Yeah, sure. So I was before I launched Fuducia, I was working with a bunch of creators, still working with two right now, helping them monetize their audience with the School community. So I started to learn School, seeing loads of problems. One of the communities we ran had a ton of issues with spam moderation. At one point, we had about 8 admins working, and it wasn't even like we still couldn't manage the spam. So we come up with this idea to essentially release a moderation tool, essentially what they have on Discord with these moderation bots. So we went into development, and about 2 to 3 months, we developed a product that essentially automates the entire moderation on School. So our long-term goal is to go like all in on automation with the DMs and everything. But right now it's just the moderation side. And alongside that, I thought, well, the thing is with School, the future of business, in my opinion, is communities. And School's a prime example of that. So I thought, well, if we're building a software product on School, why don't we just go all in and create our own community and actually not only help people moderate their School communities, automate their School communities, let's actually help people with School and use my knowledge from growth operating, from helping creators, and put it all into one community. So that's where everything was formed from there and everything sort of like come together, if that makes sense.
So basically, you started with the SaaS first, right? The idea for the SaaS, and then built the community around it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we come up with the idea for the SaaS, and then we thought, well, how can we like really like make this a big thing on School? Because we don't just want to be a software company that's on School and it's we've got customers on School, but we're not actually adding to School. We
Mhm.
thought if we can actually contribute and grow the platform ourselves by bringing out like organic members over, nurturing them and getting them building their School communities or getting them to become School specialists, like whatever it is we want to contribute towards the School platform as much as possible. So I thought it's a no-brainer decision. Let's bring out a community, which I wanted to do my own community anyway for a while, and I thought this is the perfect beginning to do that, really.
That's great. And then, so what other things are you offering within the community besides the automation and
So
moderation?
right now, the community, actually, we don't really focus on the automation on the community at all.
Okay.
The community is purely based on helping people either become growth operators or creators on School. So they can launch their own communities, how they could partner with another creator to launch their own communities.
Mhm.
And the moderation automation tool isn't actually like much a part of it. It's more of just a this is a bonus.
Sure.
So the idea is to just grow the Fiducia brand, really big on Skool and have it really based around giving as much value as possible.
That's awesome. So you mentioned two things, creator and growth operator. Can you explain that a little more to me?
Yeah, sure. So the growth operating term, it's become, I'd say, a bit of a buzzword with Skool. It's really people like Eddie Cumberbatch have really pushed this,
Hmm.
and for me, I think I mean, it's been around for what for forever, really. It's a business model that has always been used because celebrities have always needed people behind them operating their business side. But now with the creator economy, it's a bit different because you don't necessarily have celebrities. You have these creators that yeah, again, like you wouldn't consider them celebrities, but are then building businesses, and businesses are being built on the back end of these creators. So with growth operating, it's an opportunity for someone who maybe doesn't have any experience to come in and say, look, I've got this idea with a creator to build a paid community. Um, I'm going to only work on a percentage basis, and we're going to make you this amount of money. So
Right.
essentially it's just where you're going to be reaching out to a creator, educational creator, most likely, and saying this is how we're going to help your audience, this is how we're going to monetize it, this is what I'm going to do, this is what you're going to do, and we're going to split the profits.
That's
So it's a
amazing.
no-brainer decision from the creator's point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you've done that with a celebrity, right? You're working with a UFC fighter, is that correct?
Yeah, so we funny enough, so it was really strange. So we were just I thought I was reaching out and working with these educational creators, and I thought, why don't we just try and bring like a really big name onto the platform? So I thought I quite like, I've been boxing myself for about 2 years. I love watching the UFC. So I thought I put together a prospect list of all the UFC fighters that I thought could be great for this. And the first name on that sheet was Tom Aspinall. And I reached
Wow.
out to his team. They got back. They were really keen. So we met in London with his content manager. He loved the idea. And then 2 weeks later, we're at his gym. We signed the contract and just got to work. So we originally we're going to go for the angle of just MMA, but instead we're going for the angle of overall self-improvement
Hmm.
and helping people go from normal to extraordinary. So we're just I'd say in a soft launch phase there where we're pushing it out and we've got some big things in the works for to promote this and hopefully take this to a really big community on Skool.
That's amazing. When do you think you'll go into hard launch with it?
Into hard launch. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks we have a challenge that's in the works. We're just waiting for a few approvals of some things, going to design the rest of it, and then we're going to really push and have a big challenge that hopefully, and that's the aim of it is to actually just become it's just a challenge that's really trendy. So for example, David Goggins 75 hard, that's a very trendy challenge that people just like to do. That's we want to build something exactly like that. So that's almost going to be like a full launch with that method.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned you just basically did a cold outreach to his team. So how did you come up with that and figure that all that out?
So I think with outreach, so before I was in digital product space, I was doing SMMA. So I was doing a lot of cold calling, a lot of cold outreach. And I think a lot of people in all these sort of business models, they get obsessed with a script. They get obsessed with these buzzwords that are gonna, get them interested. Now, I kind of take that aspect out of it. I think you've got to look at who you're targeting. Now, Tom Aspinall, or let's take a content creator. These people are not ordinary people because they are very unique individuals. They're not programmed the same way. So they're not gonna respond to an automated copy and paste message. They want to speak with a human. And also they don't want to have their time wasted. So I just have the principle of be human and be direct. So my approach now for Fiducia, sending looms, or say I send looms for Fiducia to content creators. But before that, I was literally just sending emails that I thought of on the spot. I didn't have any script. I just thought, well, this is what I want the idea I want to present to them. This is why I want to work with them. Let's just freestyle this and see what kind of email I can put together. And because of my copywriting and sales background with SMMA, I knew how to structure it in a good way, but the rest of it was actually just freestyle. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have this hidden, outreach method. It's just be human and be likable, and also be prepared to go the extra mile. So I always try and meet with people I want to work with. Tom, it was only about a 2 hour drive for me, so I drove up and met him. Um, it shows commitment on my end, and it makes them more likely to wanna work with you.
Sure. So you mentioned Loom. Now, would you suggest that people doing cold outreach rather than do an email, maybe do a Loom video to introduce their offer to the potential client?
Yeah, 100%. If I was looking back, reaching out to Tom, I think if I was send a Loom video, it would have removed a lot of friction in between because it was a one email sent, loads of responses where we're kind of going over the whole idea. If
Mhm.
I was to send a sent of Loom, they would have got the whole picture instantly. So I think Loom is very much an upgrade from that. Now, one method that I think could be effective for people is what, and I always recommend this, is hit up literally every single method you can with a creator. So send them a Loom on Instagram, send them a Loom on Facebook, send them like
Mhm.
wherever you can find them, send them a Loom. And also then you could send that style of email that I've just mentioned with Tom, where there's no Loom. You can sort of test it out and keep trying new things because like I say, I mean, I'm not a content creator with millions of followers, and there's messages that I don't get to read because I've got a full inbox. So
Mhm.
these creators have 100% got a huge inbox on most platforms. So if you just constantly follow up with people, and if you've got a genuine good offer, they're not going to get annoyed at you for following up. So with
Mhm.
Fiducia, obviously guys in school that I'm reaching out to, they're very, very busy. But if I just prod them to follow up, they're normally like, yeah, cool, thanks for following up with this. And they watch the Loom and they're normally interested from there. So that's um that's my recommendation when it comes to outreach.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. And you suggested like don't use AI for your copy, just be more natural, right?
100%. I mean, ChatGPT and AI is definitely gonna get more human-like over time,
Mhm.
but nothing can replace actual human writing. Especially if you're going from person to person, if you actually just write out an email for yourself, it's going to be much more effective. If you use the right framework, it's going to 100% going to be more effective than a ChatGPT script. Maybe when you come to obviously building up an email list, you can get away with using AI because you're sending it to so many people.
Mhm.
But if you're trying to get a creator as a growth operator, or if you're trying to just work with a creator or get in contact with a creator in general, you're not going to be sending it to thousands. You're going to be sending it to a very small amount. So you may as well take the time to actually make it the best email possible because you'd rather send 10 emails a day than 100 emails a day and have the 10 personalized, whereas you could have 100 copy and paste. You'd rather have the 10 personalized because the people, if they actually see the email, they're much more likely to respond.
Right. And you never get a second chance at a first impression, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you send a ChatGPT script, they know exactly your game. They know that they're one of many that have been
Mhm.
outreach to. You have to almost, I mean, content creators understand that you're probably going to be sending this to more people than them. But if you can come across as I had this idea for you, not I've had this idea in general, then
Mhm.
it's much better. So if you presented the idea as specifically for them, so when I was sending an email to Tom, or if I was sending an email to someone in let's pick a niche, I don't know, the fitness niche. I guess Tom is in the fitness niche, but if you're targeting different niches, you want to obviously tailor the outreach to that niche and to the person as well. So I know with Tom, he's a huge family man. He has the Aspinall BJJ Instagram account, which is his family's like martial arts gym. So
Mhm.
I tailored the email around that, and I was like, well, this is how it can also benefit your family brand. This is how it can benefit this. This is how we could potentially grow your brand with it. And now we're at a point where his brand is moving to a point of trying to help people, I say, become extraordinary, and this is all through the Skool and my original idea. Now, if I had just sent a copy and paste generic, I'm going to build you a paid community, probably wouldn't really be that interested because he can get money elsewhere. It's what impact he can leave with this. So 100% just go very specific on what you have to offer them.
Well, you also mentioned something that I think really made it personal is you told him what you liked about him. And that
100%.
made it really interpersonal. Is why you were reaching out to begin with because you were a fan, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. You always have to, because it lowers their defense then if you show them exactly what you like about them. And if it's genuine as well, because they can detect a genuine compliment.
Mhm.
So for example, like with Tom, what I liked about Tom was the fact he was so humble, and you know, also I almost leveled with him and showed him my situation. I'm a young lad from the UK, and I like seeing people from the UK do well. So it kind of connects with them on a more of a personal level, and that's going to bring their defenses down. They're going to be more open to the idea.
Yeah, now you being young, 19, amazing what you're doing with your own business already. I think, cheers to you for that. What
Thank
kind of advice could you give other young adults who want to start a community or really just want to earn money online and utilize school to do that?
The one piece of advice, the main thing is just take action. So what I found is it's very easy to develop a plan. So you can develop a plan to get to 10K, 100K a month, a million a month, like whatever it is, you can develop a plan for it. But it's just about taking action and constantly taking them painful decisions. Like I wake up and I have a choice of, do I do the easy thing with the business? Do I try and create a new logo? Do I try and create new classroom covers? Whatever it is, or do I send looms? Do I jump on calls with people? Do I try and break into new circles to expand my software company? Do I do that, or do I do the easy thing? And you always have to pick the hard thing. And I find that over time, the biggest lesson I've learned is compound consistency. And I'm almost going to link that to momentum as well. Like these two things, compound consistency and momentum, they're almost like steroids for business, I find, because every single day you see yourself getting better, you get addicted to the results. And especially if I find if it's something to do with talking on a camera, so on a call like this, sending a Loom video, recording a course, you just start to get more and more confident. So if I was to apply this for advice for school, the best thing is to just start interacting with people, start making building your network, start providing value, start learning, and go all in. Your life should be, if you genuinely want to make money and make this your full-time thing, your life should be all revolved around this. Whenever you get spare time, whenever you're trying to learn things always related to school, and then just give it time. And I mean, I think with Skool, I think you can definitely see really fast success in on Skool, which is cool because most business models you have to give it 6 months to a year. But don't worry if you're not seeing results. Just stick with the plan, do the hard things, and eventually your time is going to come.
Yeah, sure. And one last question on that front. You talked about, daily activity, daily action. And when young people see videos about people like Ted Carr or, people that are earning well over $100,000 a month, it seems really outlandish and unbelievable, but you and I know that's fact. It's really happening. But they
Yeah.
see this and they think that there's some fast track to it because it happened quickly for people like Evelyn or even yourself. But the fast track isn't the right approach, right? They're not gonna. They need to really, I think what you and I both understand is that if you're a young person out there, you want to earn a lot of money. Over 10K a month, which is great money for a young person, especially your age. You've got to get up early. You've got to get less sleep. You've got to cut out your vices and really monitor your time and what you're doing with the time, right? What would you say to that?
Yeah, 100%. Because well, yeah, you have 100% you have to manage your time. But on the whole thing of quick success, like people say they want to get rich quick, but but they don't. Like you want to enjoy the process because this is what you have to understand is business is just a game, and you get addicted to the game, and the money becomes almost not irrelevant because you are in it for money, but you want to get to that next level. You want to keep achieving new things. And if you go from straight away from 0 to 100K, it's like you miss a really fun part of the game. I mean, like my in May, I enjoyed my success quite a lot and traveled a lot, which was amazing. But what makes it better is the fact that now, like, I'm back grinding. I'm not doing that 24/7.
Hmm.
I'm back grinding every single day. I'm in the gym. I'm taking the action on my business, and that's more fun, I find, than just doing fun stuff all day. If that
Hmm.
make if that makes sense. Because when you're working really hard and you've got this goal in mind, then when you reach that goal, celebrate it. It's amazing. But then you also want to achieve the next level. I've sort of gone off on a complete tangent there, but yeah, that's the game. And if you actually want to get to get to this number of 100K a month, 7 figures a month, like you see people like Ted Carr doing, you have to just enjoy the process and keep wanting to level up. Because if you're obviously there's loads of videos on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube of how to make 10K a month, how to make 100K a month, and there's this massive kind of pedestal they put on it. But once you start to earn a bit of money, you start to see, like, that's what's cool about Skool is you see the people making the money. So there's no trust issues there because Hamza's making 100 grand a month. You know what these people are making, which is quite a cool thing. That
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what do you think of the future of school and of community-based business? Because I think, again, keeping with the young adults, I think when they think community, they think party, man. We're going to hang out with our friends and we're going to party. But as you and I are both talking here, it's not a party. It's a lot of work and it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So, what would you comment on that?
I mean, the future of school, I always like having a conversation about this because there's so many different angles we can take. I know a lot of people are obsessed with big creators coming on the platform, which is great. I think it's amazing. It's also cool that you can talk with these creators. But I think looking at another angle, I think the future of education lies on school. I think there's a lot less trust in traditional education,
Hmm.
and I think a lot more turning to untraditional education. So I see a lot of maybe not necessarily like university and college professors, but I see just a lot of experts in their field bringing over their platform to school.
Hmm.
So, and I was even speaking about this, and this is probably a long way off, and maybe won't even come into play. But even maybe with school, like some school could even have an official certification system where, let's say, I wanted to employ an appointment setter for my business.
Sure.
Now, there's no official way apart from hopefully trusting this guy is being honest with his social proof that he's actually qualified to do this. But let's say you had a community on Skool that is certified, like ran by a certified appointment setting expert, and they reach a certain threshold in that community and achieve a certain amount of thing in that community, they almost get a degree, a school degree,
Hmm.
which is can then be used to land these jobs within online business. Because not everyone is going to be on Skool, not everyone's going to be a creator. You're going to
Right.
have people that are going to like Max Pearson's a great example. Max Pearson is a very creative individual, genius at what he does, but he needs people around him to almost link them ideas together. So
Right.
he's the creator, and you have these specialists that are then linking everything else together. So
That's
I see the future of school just being the hub for education, online, basically.
that's great. Well, how do people get in touch with you? How do they find you? Let's spill your socials, man.
Many places can get in contact with me. So preferably, I quite like having conversations over school. So if you look up the Fuducia community, I'll be in there. Also, my name is Jamie Chadburn, so you can search me up in school communities, school games. Instagram, I believe my handle is underscore chadders underscore oh 04. I might be wrong with that. And then also on YouTube as well. I've started posting on YouTube just every day, just giving out some raw value. I think that I really kind of value doing stuff like that. So just Jamie Chadburn on YouTube as well. So they're the places of contact for myself.
That's great. Well, thanks so much for spending this time, and thank you for tuning in, everyone, to School VIP. And we'll see you in the next show.